The mahogany doors of the Hartwell Industries boardroom closed in my face with a decisive thud. Through the frosted glass, I could hear my stepbrother Richard's voice carrying clearly. Now that we've cleared out the non-essential personnel, let's begin the real meeting. Non-essential personnel. After 5 years of being part of this family, I was still just the outsider who'd arrived with my mother when she married their father. Should someone tell Sabrina she can't just hover outside? That was my stepsister Victoria, her voice dripping with the same condescension she'd perfected at age 16. It's pathetic how she always tries to insert herself into company business. Security can handle it if necessary, Richard replied dismissively. This meeting is for real executives only. People who actually contribute to Hartwell Industries, not stepdaughters playing dress-up. I stood in the hallway, my hand still reaching for the door handle I'd been about to turn, wearing the same dress-up outfit I'd worn to close multi-million-dollar deals they knew nothing about. But to them, I was still just Sabrina Chun, the unwelcome addition who'd disrupted their perfect family dynamic. Through the glass, I could see the entire Hartwell executive team assembled. Richard as CEO, Victoria as CFO, their cousin Bradley as head of operations, and various other family members who'd been gifted positions based on DNA rather than ability. The only person missing was my stepfather, Charles Hartwell, who was recovering from heart surgery. I pulled out my phone and opened my messages. To Jessica Martin, my assistant. "Are we ready?" Her response was immediate. "All documents signed. Press release drafted. Waiting for your signal." I typed back. "Announce the acquisition now." Then I walked calmly to the small waiting area across from the boardroom, sat down in one of the uncomfortable leather chairs, and waited. I didn't have to wait long. The first phone buzzed at 10:47 a.m. Then another, like a cascade of digital dominoes falling in perfect sequence. Through the frosted glass, I watched shapes moving urgently, voices rising in confusion and alarm. "That's impossible." Richard's voice cut through the noise. "Check again. It's on Bloomberg," someone shouted. Reuters too. Hartwell Industries acquired by Phoenix Capital in surprise takeover. "Get legal on the phone. Now!" The boardroom door burst open. Victoria stood there, her perfect composure cracking, her phone clutched in a white-knuckled grip. Her eyes found me immediately. "You," she breathed. "Me," I agreed, not moving from my chair. "What did you do?" Richard appeared behind her, his face flushed with anger and something else. "Fear, maybe?" "I attended a business meeting," I said calmly. "Just not yours." "This is a joke." Bradley pushed past his cousins. "Some kind of stunt. You don't have the money or connections to." "To what?" I interrupted. "To buy a company that's been hemorrhaging money for 3 years? To acquire a business that's survived only because of my interventions, which you've all been too proud to acknowledge." "What interventions?" Victoria demanded. I stood slowly, smoothing my skirt. "The Mitchell contract that saved you from bankruptcy 2 years ago? I brokered that. The emergency funding last Christmas when you couldn't make payroll? That came from my connections. The 3 major clients you landed this year? I sent them your way." "That's impossible," Richard said, but his voice lacked conviction. "You don't even work here." "No," I agreed. "I don't. I've never been allowed to work here, despite my MBA from Wharton and my decade of experience in corporate turnarounds. Remember? This is a family business, and I'm not real family." "How?" Victoria's voice was faint. "How did you?" "Phoenix Capital," I said simply. "My company. Started with my inheritance from my biological father, the one you all mocked as a nobody businessman. Turns out he was better at business than any of you realized. And so am I." "Your company?" Bradley laughed, but it sounded forced. "You're lying. Phoenix Capital is worth $8.7 billion at last valuation," I finished. "We specialize in acquiring mismanaged family businesses and turning them profitable. Hartwell Industries is our 43rd acquisition. The board would never approve this." Richard was pulling up documents on his phone, scrolling frantically. "We have safeguards, voting rights. The board voted unanimously this morning," I informed him. "Turns out they're more interested in saving their investments than preserving your family dynasty. Especially after I showed them the real books, not the creative accounting Victoria's been presenting." Victoria went pale. "How did you get the real books?" "Your assistant, Monica, was very helpful. She's tired of being overworked and underpaid while watching you take credit for her work. She's also excited about the promotion she'll be getting under new management." "This is illegal," Richard shouted. "Corporate espionage." We'll sue. With what lawyers? I asked. Hartwell Industries' legal team works for the company, not for you personally. And I checked my watch. 17 minutes ago, I own the company. The elevator dinged, and Jessica stepped out with a team of security personnel and several bankers' boxes. Ms. Chun, she said professionally, though I caught the hint of a smile. The transition team is ready to begin. Excellent. I turned back to my step-siblings. Now, let's discuss your futures. Richard, your performance as CEO has been abysmal. You're terminated, effective immediately. Security will escort you out after you return all company property. You can't. I can and I did. Victoria, you'll be demoted to junior analyst. If you can prove yourself without Daddy's protection, you might work your way back up. Or you can resign. Your choice. And if I refuse? She lifted her chin defiantly. Then you'll be terminated for cause. The forensic accountants I hired found some very interesting discrepancies in your expense reports. $3,000 dinners claimed as client meetings when the clients were actually in different countries? That's fraud. She deflated like a punctured balloon. Bradley, I continued, you're actually not terrible at operations. You can keep your position, but you'll report to the new COO I'm bringing in. Someone who actually knows how to optimize supply chains instead of just golfing with vendors. This is our family's company. Richard's voice cracked. Our grandfather built this. Your grandfather built a successful business, I corrected. You've spent 3 generations destroying it while I watched from the sidelines. Do you know how frustrating it's been? Seeing every bad decision, every missed opportunity, every moment of nepotism over competence. If you cared so much, why didn't you say something? Victoria demanded. I tried. Repeatedly. Remember the strategic plan I presented 2 years ago? The one you laughed at and said I should stick to planning family dinners? That plan is now Phoenix Capital's blueprint for turning Hartwell Industries profitable. The boardroom had emptied, executives fleeing like rats from a sinking ship. Only my step-siblings remained, looking lost in the hallway of the company they'd believed would always be theirs. What about Dad? Richard asked quietly. He's still recovering. This will kill him. Your father is the only Hartwell I respect, I said. He's known about this for weeks. Who do you think gave me the final piece of information I needed to complete the acquisition? Dad would never. Your father is tired of watching his children destroy his life's work, I interrupted. He's tired of the infighting, the incompetence, the arrogance. He wants his company to survive, even if it means taking it away from you. I pulled out my phone and showed them a message from Charles. Do what needs to be done, Sabrina. Save my company from my children. The silence that followed was deafening. He chose you, Victoria whispered. His stepdaughter over his own children. He chose competence over blood, I corrected. Something you might have learned if you hadn't spent 5 years making sure I knew I wasn't real family. Jessica cleared her throat. Ms. Chun, you have a call with the Tokyo office in 20 minutes. Thank you. I looked at my step-siblings one last time. You have 1 hour to clear out your offices. Personal items only. Company property stays. Sabrina, please. Richard's arrogance had completely evaporated. We're family. No, I said firmly. We're not. You made that abundantly clear every time you excluded me, dismissed me, reminded me I was just the stepdaughter. Well, congratulations. You were right. I'm not family. I'm your boss. You planned this, Victoria said, understanding dawning. All these years you've been planning this. No, I said honestly. I spent years trying to be part of this family. Trying to contribute, to help, to belong. You're the ones who pushed me to build something separate, something you couldn't exclude me from. Phoenix Capital exists because you wouldn't let me into Hartwell Industries. So this is revenge? Bradley asked. This is business, I replied. Revenge would be liquidating the company and selling it for parts. Instead, I'm going to do what you never could, make it profitable, sustainable, and respected again. Your grandfather's legacy will survive. Just not in your hands. Security began escorting them out. Richard turned back one last time. What are you going to tell Dad? The truth, I said. That his company is finally in good hands. Real executive hands. As they disappeared into the elevator, I walked into the boardroom, my boardroom now. The morning sun streamed through the windows, illuminating the Hartwell Industries logo on the wall. Soon, it would be replaced with something new, something better. Jessica joined me. The press release is getting significant pickup. The Wall Street Journal wants an exclusive interview about the acquisition. Schedule it for tomorrow, I said, settling into the CEO's chair. Today, we have a company to save. The transition team is impressed with your takeover strategy, she continued. Clean, legal, and devastating. They're calling it the most elegant hostile takeover they've seen. It wasn't hostile, I corrected, looking out at the city skyline. It was necessary. The real Hartwells, the ones who built this company, would understand. My phone buzzed. A message from Charles. Thank you for saving my company. Welcome to the family, the real family built on merit, not blood. I smiled. After 5 years of being excluded, I'd finally found my seat at the table. I just had to buy the entire table first. The next months were a whirlwind of restructuring, rebranding, and rebuilding. Richard found a job at a small firm in Boston. A humbling restart for someone who'd thought he'd always be CEO. Victoria, surprisingly, stayed and worked her way back up, learning humility along with proper accounting. Bradley thrived under competent leadership, finally able to focus on operations instead of family politics. And Hartwell Industries? It posted its first profitable quarter in 3 years, then another. The company their grandfather built was saved, even if his grandchildren had to learn hard lessons about entitlement versus achievement. As for me, I never did change the name on the boardroom door. It still reads Hartwell Industries, a reminder that some legacies are worth preserving, even if you have to wrestle them away from those who would destroy them. Especially then,